Hello viewers, it's Sentai Michael from Three Views, bringing you a new podcast from myself called the Super Sentai Review. And like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly, in case you don't understand me. Also, I told you my best not to breach your heart during this art podcast recording as well, not to cause any art feedback as well. And also, if you're under 18, this art podcast recording will change to adult, will change to adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this art podcast recording will change to adult language if you're under 18. Now, if you're over 18, then you can watch this audio podcast recording. Now, with this and anything else out the way, let's get into the latest episode of Gozyuger. So basically, we start off at the Bardo's at the number one word Bardo's headquarters. So basically, we see Miss Bouquet, Fire Candle, and Shining Knight and Miss Sweet Cake, sitting down having a meal, and everything was going fine until Miss Sweet Cake and Shiny Knight got into an argument over some knives that he didn't want to be used for eating their meal and whatnot, and they got into an argument, and therefore they decided to figure a way to separate themselves. But before they left the headquarters, they started throwing things and whatnot, and basically, Fire Candle got hit by an item, during the argument, throwing things and whatnot, and basically Miss Bouquet, lucky for her, she managed to duck in time and whatnot, but Fire Candle got hit by an object and whatnot, and basically they ended up leaving. Meanwhile, back at the back at the cafe, some to me confronted Riku about his connection with Ray, and basically, he had a picture of him and Ray together and whatnot, and basically, and the other individual was shocked, didn't want to believe that they thought that Ray was Ray was kind of like was joking about him and Riku know each other, but after some Sumi found the proof that he was a brilliant so basically, he was a brilliant surgeon, until an accident happened to him and whatnot. So basically, what the hell is going? I want the truth. So basically, Riku came clean, he said me and him. So basically, me and Ray grew up together in the same neighborhood and whatnot. Yes, he was a surgeon and whatnot until one day, until one night, some young kid tried to put out a blade and almost tried to stab me, trying to rob me, and basically he got in the way. His arm got so basically an arm and his nerve cost him his surgical career and whatnot. So basically, ever since that day, ever since he lost the use, ever since he got cut, a nerve in his arm got cut, because that little girl who tried to stab me, he got in the way and got stabbed, and a nerve in his arm got cut, and therefore he couldn't do any surgery anymore and whatnot. And basically, ever since that day, I haven't seen him since. Then once he turned up with Odo and whatnot, he said that he had an incurable disease that he wants to it turns out he had an incurable disease, but somehow he managed to fix it, cure it somehow by kidnapping your sister Odo, and basically etc. Basically, so basically, some Timmy was some Timmy was okay, I understand that, but you should have told the truth, Riku is I should have told you the truth earlier about Ray, about him having your sister hostage and whatnot. So basically, so basically some Sylvie was not happy with Riku and whatnot, and basically nothing. So basically, she kind of went off on Riku, but the other Rangers so basically, like the other Rangers, at least we know that Ray has a sister. So basically, all we got to do is take down your brother Ray. Take down Ray. No, get Ray to talk and we can get you find where he has his sister, where he has your sister at. So anyway, meanwhile, we see Ray at his hideout, I believe, somewhere, wherever he lives at his hideout or whatever. He has Oto, son Eno's sister, in a chamber. She's asleep and whatnot, inside this chamber and whatnot. And basically, he starts to talk to a mirror and reaches this weird night dude. So he started to talk to this mirror, and inside, and this weird night dude appeared, and basically, his name was Bedamir, yeah, and basically soon you will get what you want, and we will get what we will get what you want. Get what you want and whatnot. So basically, and Benjamin promised Ray that you'll get what you want, and we will, and you will help. You get what you want by helping us get Sentai rings, and you'll still be well and whatnot. So anyway, meanwhile, we see. So basically, we see Mr. Shiny Knife and Miss Freaky trying to separate themselves from each other, and basically they eventually bumped into Hao and Kinjin, who were shopping for the cafe, and basically So basically, Mr. Shiny Knight and Miss Freaker asked them to use their Tegosaur to try to split them up, and basically they tried, but there was no luck, and basically they started to. So basically, they started to explain themselves that they wasn't always like this stuck together. There used to be separate beings, separate human beings, we used to be separate human beings. So basically, they were separate human beings. China was a wandering warrior, and basically was always being challenged by the foot soldiers of the Belfry, and Miss Freecake was a beautiful woman, always being chased by the foot soldiers of the Belfry. So basically, one day, they met each other and basically trying to escape from the Belfry, and therefore they fell in love, and basically they came to a mountain that looks like a cake, looks like some type of weird cake and whatnot, and therefore they got fused together. They got fused together ever since that day, as far as they remember and whatnot. So anyway, meanwhile, back at the bridal headquarters, Queen June was asking Bouquet and Bouquet, where is Shiny Knife and Miss Sweet Cake? So basically, they went out to the healing world. Why? He said that I can sense that the calamity forces are soon about to show themselves. So basically, when she met, so Tekajun explains that there's some as the calamity, a powerful being, the Tegasaur being a powerful creature called the calamity. So basically, 1,000 years ago, but it seems like the forces, the leftover forces called the crevice is starting to reemerge again. So basically, it turns out that turns out that turns out that Mr. Shiny Knife is a descendant, used to be a part of the Kravis, who is a part of the Calamity Forces. So basically, once that came out, the Calamity. So basically, the Kravis goal is to collect Sentai rings and use them to free until the Calamity from its from its shield by the Tegazord. So basically, we can't let that happen at all. So basically, Tegazord made it clear that she does not want to use. She wants to take over the world, but she doesn't want that Calamity being to be free from the Tegazord shield at all. So anyway, meanwhile, some Superman was by herself, and Ray showed up out of nowhere, and basically oh, your older sister. So basically, and basically he transformed into Magic Red, using his Infinity Ring, Sentai Ring, and whatnot. And basically, he started to fight against Sunsumi. So basically, it was not going very well for Sunsumi and whatnot. And basically Riku and the other Rangers showed up, except for Kenjin and Hao. So basically, it seems like that. So basically, it seems like that Ray was about to get his, but all of a sudden he demorphed, and basically he said that I'd like to introduce you to my benefactor friend, and he let Benamy took over his body, and basically Benamy appeared, and basically the Rangers had a hard time with Benamy. And basically, once Benedict appeared, Mr. Shiny Knife took over started to act start to act strange and whatnot, and basically he kind of remember his days. He kind of remember his days back at the Calamity and whatnot, and therefore took over the body. And Miss Sweetcake was basically silent and basically passed out after Shiny Knight, kind of got his memories back and whatnot, and made himself grow, and basically took over their body. So Mr. Shiny Knight took over their body, and Miss Sweetcake is now kind of in a comatose state and whatnot, while Shiny Knight took over their body. So anyway, it turns out that Riku knows the situation about Mr. Shiny Knight and whatnot, and basically, Kenjin wished to use the Tegazord Green Megazord to deal with Mr. Shiny Knight for not destroying the city and whatnot, while Hao deal with his brother and whatnot. So basically, Kenshin was able to stop Mr. Shiny Knight from destroying the city, and therefore force him to shrink down again. And how used his wild form to fight against his brother and a bunch of Sentai warrior clones and whatnot. Once Kenshin, stopped Mr. Shiny Knife, Korn decided to cheat once Kenshin used the Tegazord Green Megazord to stop Mr. Shiny Knife, and he decided to retreat. Meanwhile, the rest of the Rangers were dealing with Benamy, who's a special foot soldier for the Calamity, and therefore he was about to do some serious damage to some but using the power of the Gozyuger ring, Riku managed to take the power of the blast, but doing so forced him to demorph, and basically Benamy took the Gozyuger ring, and that's when And that's where, that's when, Mesh and Shido goes to Polo, it's like he used his ice powers to, once again, try to stop his powerful attack from destroying them, and therefore, and force them to retreat. And basically, some elves didn't want to retreat, but, this guy, trust me, this guy is no joke. The brighter, or, you think the brighter was worse, the brighter are decent folks compared to Bedouin and the Calamity forces. So anyway, so the Rangers retreated and whatnot, and basically we see Mr. Shiny Knife somewhere in the alley, waking up, and basically doesn't remember what happened, and basically he was trying to wake up Miss Sweetcake, but she's in a comatose state, was in a comatose state, and basically he started to freak out, and basically he didn't remember a power took over him, and basically he was trying to wake up Miss Sweetcake, his love, and basically no response, and basically that's how the episode ended on this note. So anyway, we finally got some new villains that are dedicated to bringing back the Calamity being that started the Sentai War in the first place, and basically want the Sentai to bring back the Calamity being that started the Sentai War 1,000 years ago, etc., etc. So anyway, this was a good episode. So anyway, what do you guys think about this latest episode? Good, bad, or just okay? Please let me know or nah. Please let me know in the comments below this podcast. Anyway, signing off from Screen Reviews. 1.